Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Geomatics Engineering and this Arc Pro tutorial series. So in the previous lecture we explored how to interactively select features using tools like rectangle, lasso and polygon selection, and today we are going one step further and learning how to select features using attributes. So this is lecture 7 and by the end of this session you will be able to filter data based on attribute values, like for example selecting all the cities with a population over 1 million or counties from a specific state. So this all we can do by using the select by attribute tool. So before we begin, let's take a quick look at the data that we are going to use. So we have three layers loaded in our map: the US cities layer, that is point layer. So in this layer, each point represents a city, and if we open the attribute table, we can see the fields like city name, state name, population data in 1990, and then our second layer, the US National Transportation layer, which is a line layer, and it shows the highways and major routes. And in the attribute we have fields like route number, distance in miles and distance in kilometers. Then our third layer is US counties, which is a polygon layer, and in the attributes we have fields like state name, name of the cities and population in 1990, 2000, and these attributes are what make selection by data possible. So we can build logical queries using these fields to isolate features that meet certain conditions. Now select by attribute. So select by attribute means we are choosing features based on their data, not by their position on the map. So within this toolbar we use SQL expression to tell ArcGIS which records to pick. Like for example, selecting all the cities where the population is greater than 1 lakh. So ArcGIS Pro will then highlight only those cities on the map. So to access this tool, you need to go on this map tab. Then from the selection group, you need to click on the select by attribute, and this will open this toolbar select by attribute. And alternatively, you can also open this toolbar from any of the layers attribute table. Here in the selection category, you can see the select by attribute toolbar, and inside this toolbar we have few key parameters: the input rows, where we need to input the data, the layer or the table we want to select features from. And then the next parameter is selection type, whether you want to create a new selection or wanted to add to an existing selection or you want to remove. The next parameter is expression. So this is where we build our query, the where clause. So let's build a few examples to understand this better. For example, now we need to select the cities which are having population more than 1 lakh. So in the input layer, you need to select the US cities layer, which is a point layer, and in the selection type, we will select the new selection, and in the expression parameter, we need to click on this button add clause. Then we need to select the field. So we want the population data that is greater than 1 lakh. Now uncheck this box invert where clause, because this will do the opposite what you are writing in the query. Now click on OK. So you can see that all the cities which are having population more than 1 lakh is now highlighted on the map, and in the cities layers attribute table you can also see all those cities are selected. Now let's move to this US counties layer. So for example, we need to select any of the county, like for example we will give the input layer as US counties. Selection type will be new selection. We'll clear the queries and click on this add clause button. And suppose we have to select the California state. So in the where, we will select the field state name which is equal to, then we will select the unique value from this drop down and select the California, then click on OK. And you can see that all the counties that falls within the California region is now highlighted on the map. You can also export the highlighted features from the layer. So you just need to right click on this layer, then click on data, then click on export feature, and this will open a dialog box as export feature where all the selected records can be exported into a different layer. Now click on OK, and you can see that all the selected features are now in a different layer. Now we'll click on this button clear selection and clear out all the selection. Now let's work with our line data, that is US National Transportation layer. So again we will click on this select by attribute and we will give the input as US National Transportation layer. Selection type will be new selection and remove the earlier expression. And now click on this add clause button. So suppose we want to select the highway that is greater than 100 kilometers. So all the highways that will be greater than 100-kilometer length will be selected. Now click on OK. So you can see that in the map, highways which are having length greater than 100 kilometer is selected. Now we can also, using this tool select by attribute, we can combine multiple clauses for complex queries. Suppose I want to find all the cities in California with a population greater than 1 lakh. So that means I need to use two conditions, one for state and one for population. So suppose I'm giving the input row as US counties, and in the selection type, taking new selection, clearing the earlier expression, and will add a new clause. So firstly, our first condition is to select the state California, so where the state name is equal to California, and then our second condition is where population is greater than 1 lakh. Now we will click on OK, and we can see that all the counties in California which are having population greater than 1 lakh is selected now. So these compound queries are super useful when you want to analyze subsets from your data. Now in the toolbar, we have also seen this box invert where clause. So this tool works like, if you check that this box, ArcGIS selects everything that does not match your query. Like it will work invertly. For example, if you invert the previous query, you will get all the cities that are outside of California. So like if I click on this invert where clause and click on OK, you can see that this does the opposite of the query. Like all the cities that are out of California are now selected and highlighted on the map. And also within the toolbar, the selection type is also useful. So here are multiple options: the new selection, add to current selection, remove from the selection. So if you want to like remove some small towns or certain states from your selection, you can use these selection types in your query. And these multiple queries and combining clauses and using the different selection type is very powerful for deeper analysis. And that's it for select feature using attribute and ArcGIS Pro. So today we learned how to build queries, combine clauses, and filter features using both numeric and text fields. And we also saw how attribute selection can work with point, line, and polygon layers, like we have used for US cities, national transportation layer, and for counties layer. So in the next lecture, we will move on to select feature by location, where we use spatial relationship to make selections like finding cities within a county or road near rivers. So stay tuned, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if this helped you understand attribute based selection better.